Welcome back, our freaks and geeks, to another podcast. This podcast, we're going to be honoring the legacy and life of James Earl Jones and what he's done for so many people. You know, how he's inspired people throughout our childhoods. I knew him from Lion King. Originally, I got to see him in the voice of Vader and many other things. We're still catching up. Like, he was like, I just read something that he was like one of the first guest stars on Sesame Street. Like, he was the first
Yes.
one, so that's pretty cool. Like, after that, they got a legacy of guest stars like that after him. The legend, the
The goat man, look, literally.
goat.
Um, this dude, because the person we finna talk about, they've done so much. They've been a part of film, no nerd culture, pop culture, sci-fi, fantasy, just influential in acting, Broadway. All he's done, dipped and dabbled and everything. Like literally, he's an EGOT winner, which is like a high award, like accomplishment to have. That means you have the Emmy, Grammy, Oscar, and a Tony. It's very few people that's in that club. Just to say, and it's a couple of us in there. He's been in what he already has like over 100 credits. Voice
He's got a
acting.
lot.
If you put voice acting and like film together, it's over 100. And just like we said, like Demetrius said, Lion King, the Star Wars franchise, The Sandlot, Field of Dreams, Coming to America, Claudine, Conan the Barbarian,
Simpsons.
Roots, Simpsons, The Great White Hope. What else? I think I'm missing something. Oh, he played. Remember, he played Santa Claus one time in Recess.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, remember that? A lot of now this one people you got to be like a real film head to know this one. But he did this movie with a fellow co-star, Star Wars co-star back in the '70s before he did Star Wars, and it was called The Bingo, Long Traveling All Stars and Motor Kings, which was basically like a story about the Negro Leagues and
mm.
stuff. So that was like one of the earlier films. But man, he's done so much and contribute. So we felt like it was only right that here at the Square Round Table we give him a proper send off and just pay tribute to his the dedication that he's not even dedication, the imprint that he's left on just our lives because he's
Yeah.
definitely impacted us. So I'm gonna I'm gonna throw a question at you, Demetrius, because you always get me with the questions.
Oh no.
So, what can you say is the first time? I'll say this: it's a two-parter. What's the first time you heard the voice that you can remember? The first thing you seen where you just heard his voice. Then, what's the first time that you actually seen like the face that belonged to the voice, and you put the two and two together?
I'd have to say first time because I'm a Disney kid. I grew up on Disney movies, so Lion King
Yes,
was
sir.
definitely the first time, and his voice carries such like it's perfect for a king kind of voice. Like
Mm-hmm.
it carries that weight of like royalty with it. So
Mm-hmm.
he was perfect, even though like he's so perfect for that voice. Like they won't get anybody else to do that voice. They won't get anybody in the live actions and the sequels and anytime that he's mentioned, he always comes back to do that voice because there's no one else that can pull that kind of voice off, that power, that
It's
yeah.
that power, that like baritone. It's like when he talks, the thunder strikes. The thunder roars with him, and it's that power when you hear him. It's like ooh, like like Simba. You
Yeah.
jump because that's what he brings behind the voice. But go ahead.
And then I would say, for to answer your second part of the question, it wasn't really like any movie that I saw. I saw his face in. I remember watching the original Star Wars trilogy and hearing Darth Vader's voice, and then I looked it up, and I saw that's when I saw who it was.
So it was, yeah.
Yeah, and so after that, I was like, oh, okay. And I was here's the thing, I got mad that they didn't just let him just be the whole character of Darth
Yeah.
Vader, like just let him be all in the suit and everything. Because I'm like that, like yeah, I'm not gonna. It was okay. Like I was like okay with whatever it was for the story, but I was just like that was a missed opportunity. You could have put him in the suit, like just let
Yeah,
him have all reigns.
yeah.
But to throw the question back at you, what was the first time that you heard this
Mm,
voice, and then what was the first movie that you put face to the voice? Because you're a film guy, so you got probably 3 or 4 different
man,
different
look,
references
so
to it.
definitely the voice. It was Lion King too, just like you, because I was born early 91, so I saw the movie when it
Oh
came
man,
out. I know I'm showing my age, but I saw the movie in theaters when it came out, so that was the first time I heard his voice. But of course, I didn't know who it was because I was really young.
yeah.
Then after that, I heard it again, and when George Lucas did the re-release
Mm,
for A New Hope, and I think it
yeah.
was like '96 when he wanted to go and CGI stuff for some reason. But that's a podcast for another day. So that was the second time I heard the voice, and I was like putting two together. I was like, man, that voice that sounds like Mufasa. I'm starting to put it together, but I still hadn't seen his face yet.
Yeah.
So the first film I remember seeing him in was The Sandlot when he played.
Mm.
I always forget the character's name, but the blind guy who lived on the other side of the
The one that
fence
owned the
with the
dog.
yeah that owned the dog
Yeah.
that played baseball with Babe Ruth. So
Hmm.
that was the first time I seen his face, and because I heard the voice, and because it's such an iconic voice, and you know where it came from, because he really sounds like the characters he plays, so you know the voice.
Yeah.
And I
Hmm.
was like, oh, I was like, that's Mufasa and Darth Vader. So that was like the first time I really like actually seen his face and put the face to the voice. So for me, those are my two memories. And plus, like, just let's just say this: The Sandlot is a classic, especially if you love baseball and you played outside with your friends and y'all had that one time where y'all went and played and pretend to use your favorite baseball player, which was Ken Griffey for me every time. But yeah, so those were my two times with him. Well, three
Yeah, I think
times.
James Earl Jones has been a part of a lot of classics. Like he's been a part of things that became classics and stuff like that. Like Lion King is like such a big hit that it's live action. Now they're doing a prequel series to,
Exactly.
and it's a bummer because I would be. I know they're gonna do that. He signed off his voice, so they're gonna probably just AI that
Yeah.
thing in there.
Mm.
But like I was telling other people, I was like, there's nothing like an authentic like.
James Earl
You
Jones.
know, you could like when you could,
When you hear it come deep from in the bowels of his
yeah,
stomach, and you hear it like come up through larynx and all that, and it projects. Like it just hits you. It hits you different when you know it's coming from the actual person.
exactly. So I'm just like hoping that I don't. Obviously, I'm gonna know it's not him, but hopefully I can get past the
Yeah.
AI part of it. Like I can go, oh, okay, I know it's not him, but it
Yeah.
still sounds more authentic. Like I know
Mhm.
there's not a way to do that,
Which
but
we already got in the Kenobi series because they did say he couldn't record a lot of the lines because he had retired and there
yeah,
was a strain on his voice. So we got like a hint at what it would sound like. But like you said, it's nothing. Just like Marvin Gaye said in his song, ain't nothing like the real thing, baby. I'm telling you, ain't nothing. But
it's a real thing.
ain't nothing. But at least his voice, his legacy will live on through that. And I thought it was a bummer too that we didn't get to see that prequel series, that prequel movie in animation. But you know,
Yeah, that's
live
a
live action is the way now.
listen. I don't. I'm not trying to get involved into a obscure
Mm-mm.
today, but I'm not a fan of the live actions. I'm just not. If you're gonna do
Yeah,
Disney, just keep it
keep it
animated or
animated, baby.
whatever. Like
We gonna pay for the movie. We gonna come see it.
right.
We
Just
gonna
give it
come see it.
animated. Because
We definitely gonna
CGI
come see it.
lion does not kill it. It's not doing it for me.
It's
Can't.
a lion has the most like stone face pen like of a stare, and
Yeah.
it's emotionless almost. So it's like you got a lion looking like this, but they saying something that's funny, and it's so weird.
It's so
It's
off
so
putting. It really
it's
is.
uncanny as hell.
It really is.
We can talk about that for
Yeah,
days,
we got.
man.
Yeah, let's not. As I said, I wasn't trying to stray off, but like
Yeah.
I just kind of feel like I got to talk about that. But
So let's talk about it, man. Let's just address the elephant in the room. His two most iconic characters that he's known for around the world that everybody always talk about, even people who are not big fans of the franchise. Everybody knows
yep.
he's Darth Vader and he's Mufasa.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like those two by itself hold a special place in film history and in pop culture
Yep.
because you got The Lion King, which was literally a movie that Disney didn't. I wouldn't say they didn't care about it, but it was almost like a one of the projects was like, okay, yeah, you can work on that, but we trying to do this, and a team just got together of people and they just had faith in the project, and it ended up being one of the highest grossing. I don't know if it was high grossing that year, but it basically became a part of that renaissance for Disney that saved the animation studios.
Yep.
It
Mm-hmm.
brought in that new era, and it's been a film that's been passed down through generations, and everybody knows every line, every moment. We all cried when Mufasa just thinking about it. But it hits different now. Like
It
everything,
does.
all those scenes, even with Darth Vader, everything hits different now because he's passed on and stuff. And then of course with Vader, all the iconic moments and lines, and especially for us like nerds, because we all know that it's not a African American man in the suit when
Yeah.
we see it, when we physically see it, and plus we know Anakin and all that. But
Yeah.
to know that one of the biggest villains in like film history was voiced by a black man, it just gave it so much more meaning and weight to it because yes, that's something that we have a link to because growing up you don't see and hear a lot of that. A lot of these voice actors, like you don't see their faces and know until you get
No.
older. So it was an awesome thing to have at such a young age.
Mm-hmm. It was something inspiring. Look up to. You were like, hey, whatever your circumstance going on, but we have Darth Vader is voiced by a black guy, so we're good.
Exactly. Because look at all the black voice actors that's come after James Earl Jones. Like some, and a lot of them say that. They say they saw Darth Vader or they remember him doing Mufasa. Oh, I want to do that.
Yeah.
Or I saw him in a movie and because I heard his voice, I found out that I could do both. So his influence left that mark on like the African American culture, like film and voice acting. Because after him, it was a lot of people that came in and started doing it. So
He
you know,
opened the door for so many to follow him. He left a legacy for so many people to come after. You have people like Phil Lamar, who's like an amazing voice actor, but came after him.
Keith,
That's doing Keith David, yeah, doing
Cree Summers,
yeah, Cree Summers, yeah.
like the list goes on,
It
man. The
goes
list
on,
goes
but
on.
those are
Yeah.
some heavy hitters right there that come after him and are doing great and are great in their own perspective. Those artists are those voice actors that are good in their own things, just like um, James Earl Jones. They've made their names, and it all
Mm-hmm.
happened because he opened the door for them to come, and so many others to come after him. So
Definitely.
it's a loss of royalty. Honestly,
Yeah,
it's a loss
it's
to
a big loss. It's a big
yeah.
loss. And the fact that him, I know this is not a tribute film, but the fact that him and Frankie Beverly like at the same time, it's like, man, we hurting right now. We hurting
Right?
right now because
Yeah,
that's two
it's
big
a
losses.
week.
Yeah, it's been a week, but yeah, man. So I got another question for you.
Okay.
I'm gonna I'm gonna make you think a little bit. Let's see. If you had to choose, let's see. If you had to choose between Lion King, Star Wars, and whichever one you choose, what is to you his most iconic line that he said?
Oh, okay. All right. You give me a little thinker. Okay. Let's see. Ooh. Ooh. Okay. Out of the two of those films, you said? Like out of the two of them, which one's more iconic of his
No,
dialogue?
out of the two,
Yeah.
if you had to choose, whichever one you choose, what is the most iconic line from that film? So if you chose Lion King, what's the most iconic? If you chose Star Wars, what's the most iconic?
Uh, mm, dang, I don't want to dang, I don't want to misquote it. That's my only problem. I'm like, I know, but I'm gonna say most iconic is for me, or if it's in general. Like I gotta know parameters. Like for
No, for
me,
you, for you,
oh,
for
for
you.
me,
Yeah.
I think I'd have to say Lion King just because of how the talk between him and Simba and his understanding of his what he can has control over everything that the light touches
Come
is my kingdom. And I might be misquoting, but like that
on,
line
go ahead, keep talking.
but that line is just it's just so iconic that you can first any like when you think of Lion King, you think of that line. I'm sure most people think of that line as the reference for just a father and son, just a really good father son moment. I know Darth Vader is iconic in his dialogue and lines and this that the other, but as a
Man,
kid growing up, that father son interaction was just everything to me.
yes, bro, it was because it's everything the light touches is our kingdom,
Yeah.
and King Time, as a ruler, rises and falls like the sun. One day, Simba, the sun will set on my time here, and will rise with you as the new king. Bro,
Yeah. Yes.
ah,
Yes. I heard that
you
the other
know,
day and I still get goosebumps.
man, and it's so crazy because it means so much.
Mhm.
It's this is ours, but it comes with a responsibility, you
Yeah.
know, and you have to realize that who you are is who you never should forget. Like he said, when Simba got lost and he lost his way from his home, when Mufasa came to him as a spirit, he even told him, "Remember who you are," because that's
Yep.
what he told him in the beginning. Who you are is the king. You are the future king. When
Yep.
I am gone, you are this pride's king, no matter what. And that's what brought Simba back. Is hearing his father's voice telling him to remember. And
Yep.
it's so many moments in that film that were like so
Mhm.
powerful. Like you said with Vader, it's like a whole thing of the lines are iconic, but it's either like a one off or
Yeah.
certain things he say. And it has the probably the most that holds the most weight is I am your father because it's the reveal of that moment
Yep.
and like
It's the
what
punch.
happens behind it. Yeah, it's like a punch, like you said, a punch in the gut. But with
Yep.
Mufasa, it's like a father talking to his son,
Mhm.
teaching him, guiding him. Because what we come to find out is his time here with him is not long. So he doesn't get to raise him up and teach him the way to become a king. And so those words hold more weight. As with Vader, it's I'm your father and I messed up and I'm trying to do it this way and I'm trying to make it. It's like a trying to
Yeah.
make up for lost time thing.
Exactly. Here's the crazy part about it. Both of his most iconic, and you just brought it up. Both of his most iconic roles are father
Our
and son.
fathers, and and
Yeah.
and and if enough to add to that, a lot of his roles he played the father figure, like in
Mhm.
Coming to America, which who his co-star, because Coming to America came out before Lion King,
Yeah.
but the person who played his wife was the same one who voiced Sarabi
Mhm.
in Lion King. So that connection. But he played the
Yep.
father figure in Coming to America, Welcome Home, Roscoe Jenkins. He played in the Broadway production of Fences. He was the father. What was another one he was a father in? He played the father role in Claudine. That's the movie with Diane Carroll where he stepped in to be like the father figure to her kids. What's another one? I wouldn't say he was the father figure in Field of Dreams, but he played that role as that was more the magical Negro role though. That was that one. My bad. That wasn't father figure. That was the magical Negro. You know what I'm talking about, D. That's why you laugh.
Yeah, I know.
you know I'm sorry. He always played like that father figure, that guide, that old soul of knowledge who came to you with the words that was like, "Hey, this is what you do." It
Yeah.
was even like I was watching a clip way back when, and it was like, remember when we used to be in school and they used to play like those videos, and in between it'll be like a short where it'll be
Yeah.
like they walking through the town and somebody telling them, educating them on what's going on in the neighborhood. And he was talking
Yeah.
about how black people was putting their monies into the white shops and stuff, and how if you don't spend money with them, but he was breaking it down. And if I wish I could remember the name of it, like the actual clip, but it's things like that, and he narrated so many things in
He
documentaries.
did.
I was just looking at. I forgot that he was like the narrator for Click, and it was something else. And I was like, dang, he sure was. So you know, even to like him having a comedic side, like when he did the thing on the Big Bang Theory, where he met
Yeah,
Sheldon, and
Sheldon,
they went and played the prank on
Carrie
Carrie
Fisher.
Fisher. Because it was what was so funny about that is when Sheldon saw him and he fanboyed out, you thought like he was gonna be like, "Get away from me." He was like, "You like Star Wars?" And he was like, "Uh oh," he's gonna say he hates Star Wars. He's like, "I do too." I was like,
Yes. And the crazy part about that thing is that's the first time Carrie Fisher and
met
James
each
Earl
other,
Jones met
yeah.
each other because they were in different, or he was in the booth and he was recording, and so they never
Yeah, she on set. Yep. So
so they never
that
actually
was
met. So
crazy.
that was cool. I didn't know that
Yeah.
until
Yeah.
recently.
Me too.
That
I
was
just found that out. So
Yeah, me too. So
man,
that's just crazy. It's crazy
it is.
how big of an impact and how big of a splash he had without us knowing it. Us
Mm-hmm.
hearing it in different things and not really picking it up, but now going back and going, oh yeah, he was in that. He was in this.
Yeah.
He had a voice role here. He had this. So it just
Yeah.
shows how much of an impact he had on pop culture
Yeah. And like I said,
and films.
I was telling somebody the other day, I was like, it feels, of course we didn't all know him, or he didn't like literally know us, but
Yeah.
like he knew that he had a fan base. But it feels like you lost like a granddad or somebody wise, somebody who's always been a part, because he's literally been a part of our life since we were
Yeah.
kids.
Since we
To
were
it's one of those where and it's so silly to say it, but that's just how you feel. It's like one of those things where you think somebody's gonna live forever, they're not. But
right.
it just felt like that.
It's one of those things, like you said, but social media for the last couple of years has been like crazy when it comes with that filter, the filter they put on those photos.
Bro,
You
like
know
they
what I
did
mean?
with John Williams the other day, and I thought I had
Yeah,
a heart attack. Yeah, and they
exactly. So
put
when
the
I
black
first
and white.
saw it, I was like, nah. And then I saw it on every other post. I'm like, okay, all right.
Our listeners, I just gotta tell y'all that this is how Demetrius broke the news to us. He was like, "It happened, y'all." I was like, "What happened?" Because I'm just seeing it on my phone. I was like, what is he talking about?" Then I opened my phone. I was like, "Oh no!" I was
I
like,
knew we knew
"No,
it was that time. We
no."
knew it was gonna happen eventually,
Yeah,
and the day
because me and
came.
Demetrius, we talk about it all the time, bro. Like, how you gonna be when it happens? And we always like, man, I don't know, but and then we both say, cause we know it's gonna come soon. Cause he was 93, so
Yeah, it was coming
we
up.
just
Just
knew it was
happy that he
coming.
made it. He made it this long, honestly.
Yes, we
That we
are.
got these many years with him. And even here's the thing, I found out about this on my lunch break. So I had to go back in and tell one of my
I
coworkers.
was
He's a
at
big
work.
Star Wars fan. I had to break the news to him because he hadn't went on his lunch. I was like, hey man, guess what happened? He's like,
I had
what? And I was like, guess who passed? He was like, no. And I was like, yeah.
yes, I was at work and I literally had just got off. And I said, why is this the first thing I have to see when I get off work? It's crazy. And it's like we've always, for us, like people who've really been like a fan of his work, we always watch his stuff. Like just the other day, before this, me and my mom was watching Welcome Home, Roscoe Jenkins. Because that's like our favorite film of his to watch together.
Yeah.
Like most people would say, like Coming to America, but like we love that film because it's like just a good family comedy.
It's so funny. It's
It's
really,
funny.
it's so
It's
funny.
hilarious. Yeah, we sat there and laughed about it, and we was talking about it. Then, like when it happened, I was like, "Man, we was just watching it the other day." That just shows you like how much of the impact somebody has when you still watch a lot of their stuff over again, no matter how
Over
many
and over again.
like I'm probably gonna watch Lion King like
I was about to say, I was about to cue that up.
more times. Like they're gonna get tired of hearing that song, the little sad songs. But
I'll say Disney Plus about to get a lot of my
oh
money
man,
back.
but Disney Plus that's gonna like boost up in they
hmm
like streaming services. People probably been
Exactly.
watching it like crazy. But yeah, man, it's oh man, it's such an iconic role, man. It's such
hmm
a huge hit, a huge blow. He truly will be missed.
He will be.
He will be
Rest.
missed. Rest,
Whew.
yes. Rest in peace.
Rest in peace. Rest in power.
Rest easy. Rest easy. Yeah, rest in power. Because now he's in the ancestral plane.
hmm
We say that. And then I always joke and say, it's funny I said that because I always joke and say, Black Panther wasn't nothing but the Lion King. And I want y'all to argue with me on that
Yeah.
because it's
Yeah.
facts.
It really. There's too many parallels. Honestly,
Too many.
there's too
Too
many.
many.
Too many.
It's too
Uh,
many.
Write
So
down for a
so
podcast idea. Write it down.
yes, look, get the pen. But yeah, man, I gotta hit you with the big like mic drop question right now.
Oh no.
Cause
Okay.
I know you're not prepared for this, and this is why I
I am
did this.
not. I'm
Cause I
not.
wanted to get you on the spot. So, in no order, your top 5 James Earl Jones films. And if you choose a Star Wars film, which one?
Mm. All
In
right.
no
So
order, no order.
Lion King, of course. Like throwing Lion King in there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, hold on. I gotta get a cheat sheet real quick. Hold up. You put me on the spot too easy. Okay. Hold on. I gotta get a cheat sheet real quick. Let's. You have your notes and stuff. You didn't even let me. You didn't even be like, hey, get your notes together. You just
No,
try
man,
to cut.
it gotta be spontaneous, man. It gotta be
You right.
spontaneous. Hey, though,
All
I'm digging
right.
the hat, though, D. I just
Oh
realized this is
yeah,
on your
yeah,
hat.
yeah. I mean, you gotta represent. I'm a Lion King for sure. I'm gonna put Sandlot. Sandlot's good. I like that one. What Star Wars film? I'm gonna probably say. Oof, that's a hard one. That's hard. I want to do 4 because that's first time that we hear his voice. I'm gonna go 4. That's 3.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Roscoe Jenkins 4, or not in order, but just the fourth one.
Mm-hmm.
And then, an obscure one. Let me see. I got to see something real fast. Give me a second. Because I'm going to put an obscure one on there. One that you're not even going to think of.
Oh snap! Let's see what you got.
Oh, I'm going to put robots in there. Because he was in
He
that. He was.
was.
Yeah. That's a sleeper, right?
He was. What up, fellow Star Wars star? Ewan
Yeah.
McGregor was the main
Mm-hmm.
character.
Yeah. Yeah. Look at
Okay.
me. I just had to. Let me mic drop myself. Woo. You put me on the spot because I had to go through his discography and
You
make some
got that.
options, some choices there.
You got that one, my brother.
Yeah, now I'm gonna put it back on you because you're in the hot seat. Let me put it back on you. You
I'm
already
in the
probably
hot
got your
seat.
list. You probably got your
Well,
list
half of
together.
my list is just like yours. Lion King, Sandlot,
Mm-hmm.
Welcome Home, Roscoe Jenkins. For my Star Wars film, it was hard because I was stuck between Empire and Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith.
Ooh.
But
Okay.
because in Revenge of the Sith, he only had a like couple of lines towards the
Yeah.
end. I went
Mm-hmm.
with Empire because Empire is like when we really heard Vader like really say
Oh
some things
yeah.
and like yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So for
I went
my
more
fifth,
with. Sorry, I was on that point. I went more with his first appearance, like
that's what
you
I'm
know the
saying. It
yeah.
yeah. That's
But go
why I say
ahead.
it works either way. Either way, we was gonna choose a Star Wars film, so it didn't matter. Just so y'all know,
You're
that was
right.
automatically gonna be on the list.
Oh
For my
dang! I should have said Rogue One because I forgot about that line in Rogue One. It's iconic.
don't choke on your aspirations,
Yeah,
the critic.
I'm changing it. Rogue One. No, Rogue.
I love that line.
I do too. The
He was
best
so
line.
he was so cold blooded in Rogue One. He was like shutting everything down that he said to him. I was like, damn, boy, you was gonna get the credit for building the Death Star, but you did it.
Nope.
What was that 4? So for my fifth, it's definitely Coming to America
I had a feeling. Yeah.
because that's one that I watched 100 times, and I love how he was like the kind of like the arrogant king, and he
Mm,
looked down on the people in America and stuff, like which was cool because I'm like, yeah, he's a king who has his own country and all that continent, whatever it was. So I thought that was cool. And it was like the first time for me until Black Panther seeing royalty, like as
Yeah.
us. Regardless if it was a comedy made up, it was cool to see.
Ugh.
And of course, because that movie gave us one of the best infomercials ever. Just let your soul glow. I can't go that high, but of course.
Yeah.
But yeah, man,
Nah.
definitely. So those would definitely be those are my
Yeah.
top 5.
I threw a sleeper in there because you weren't even thinking about that. That's how
No,
you,
I
you
wasn't
got to do
thinking
it.
about robots. Just like I told you, I forgot he was the narrator of the click. Like I was looking at
Mm-hmm.
all his stuff and I was like, man, he has so many credits and so many years and decades of film that he did. Like I forgot that he did The Great White Hope, the one about Jack Johnson, the first black
Mm,
heavyweight boxer.
yeah.
And like I said, Roots. I remember when I was younger, he played
Mm-hmm.
Alex Haley in Roots. So I was like,
Oh yeah.
that's what
Now
I'm
I'm
saying.
thinking
Like
back. Yeah.
you remember once you go and actually look at it, you're like, wow, he did do that. So yeah, man, it's just a wonderful career, great longevity. We have he left a legacy behind, and just things we could go and watch. I will say this: if I have to say one film I hate that he wasn't a part of that I would have loved to see him in, would have definitely been like Black Panther as one of the ancestors or something. Something in
Yeah.
there.
Something
I would
in
have
there.
loved to
That'd have
hear
been
his voice.
man. Hey,
Yeah.
it'd have been cool to see him be like, dude. His thing. I just want to see him in an ancestral plane in a high role. So I want to see him as T'Challa's father in the ancestral plane, speaking with that voice in the
Yeah, man.
plane
That would
and
have been
putting
so
stuff in
dope.
perspective. Oh, that'd have been good.
Or even one of the kings,
Yeah,
somebody,
something. I just, I
Like
just feel like he did.
he
Go
could
ahead.
have been Azuri, he could have been T'Challa's grandfather, and in the second Black Panther film, he could have came and
Ooh,
talked to Shuri instead of Killmonger. But I know why they did that. But somehow, some way, we could have got him
we
in
could have
Black
snuck him in
Panther.
there for
Yeah,
sure. He could
like
have.
just even imagine if it was a flashback of Azuri fighting like
Mm,
Hap or something, and
yeah.
he has a helmet on, and you hear his voice talking through the helmet,
Oh,
and it's him, and he says something like to Captain America. Oh man, that was my one. If I ever had my dream fantasy James Earl Jones movie, that would have been it right there.
that would have been. That would have been it. I have one final question to ask you because we talked about it earlier.
Yeah,
Is how do you feel about his voice being repurposed? Like, how do you feel about that? Do you think it's
it's
how? What are your feelings
it's
on it?
it's real touchy because
Yeah,
I'll say it like this. I'll say it like this. We've had characters in the past. People passed away. Other people came on to carry on the legacy of the character and stuff. Just like in prime example, X-Men 97. A couple of those actors passed, or they either brought in just whole new voice actors, but somebody else came in and carried on the role.
yeah,
I understand that it's such an iconic voice, but we have had actors who've done other portrayals of Vader for stuff that he probably was too busy to do, or they didn't have the time or the scheduling, such as the video games. Some of the I want to say I don't. I think he's done like all the shows in live action, but I think mainly the video games is where
probably.
he didn't do a lot of voice acting. And there's been some good people that's done his voice for like, the games, and a lot of African Americans. So I feel like as far as the movies and shows, they probably would try. They're doing it that way because they want to keep the familiarity of his voice for people
Yeah.
who's watched that, so it can be consistent. So
Mm.
I get it. It's just like you hate that that's the route they're going because it's the whole AI thing, and especially
Yeah.
with the actors just going on strike and voice actors. So it's a real touchy subject, but at the same time you understand as far as like the IP and what they're doing it for, as far as that character. But in my opinion, I would give an opportunity to somebody else because I think that's what carries the legacy of that character. Just like when these other voice actors came in to do Mickey Mouse and Winnie the Pooh
Mm.
and Goofy,
Okay.
and they've been doing it for years. But now, because of the era we in, it's easier to do it that way because you can literally like sample it and add it to whatever you have. But I would say this: one of the guys who voiced him, who I think did pretty good, was I think T.C. Carson, who played our boy Kratos in the original
Oh,
God of
okay.
War. He
Yeah.
was one of the voice actors, and then a couple other guys. So even the guy who did it for the Fallen Jedi Fallen Order game, it's like you can give it to someone else, but however, I understand the reasoning for it. So, like I said, it's
Hmm.
just one of those where it's real touchy. It's a touchy subject.
It is a very touchy subject, like for the reason that you said, but because I think you should let, oh, my opinion is I think you should let people come in and audition for it and get someone new to
Mm-hmm.
bring it on because like you said that's how you build a legacy of that character or that voice for that matter and it gets passed down because like I said, you can have somebody AI it, but you can obviously tell the difference between AI and somebody actually like doing their own like
Hmm.
mock-up version of it. There's a different, there's a kind of, I don't know, it just sounds different. Like you can tell
Hmm.
when somebody does, when somebody's not, when they like AI somebody's voice, you're like, okay, that does not even sound like that person. It sounds like them, but
Because
there's something off.
yeah, and they could have fixed the problem, knowing he was an older actor and he probably wouldn't do it for a long time. By
Yeah.
like in the films early on, they get a different voice actor because it's a younger Vader. And
Yeah.
as the years go on, like his voice changed to that. That way it could still sound like a little similar. Because, like we said, in the games, some of the guys that play him do sound like the live action version. So, like to see like how over the years his voice got more deeper and groggly because of the effects of the machine. It's just at the time they probably were just thinking, hey,
That
this is
power,
the voice of
yeah,
Darth Vader. So
exactly. They're like, get as many lines as we can, get as much as
yeah.
we can get,
So
and
so
so
we'll just see where it goes on from here because the reason why I know why Demetrius asked that is because the one thing that we want before they finish any Star Wars is we want our Vader film during the purge. That's all we
yes.
ask. I don't care. I don't care. You can do the Ray film. You can do a film about R2D2 and C3PO. I don't
Yeah,
care.
right.
We just want the purge with Vader
Yeah,
because there's so many good moments and stories that you can do in that. We don't want a show. We want a film. Like
yeah. Give us a
two
film.
hours. We want 2 hours of film, not a show where y'all gonna give us like 8 episodes.
8 episodes, 30 minutes.
So I know that's why he asked because if it was ever to be done, that's what they're gonna do. So yeah, brother. Like I
Yeah.
said, it's a pros and cons. You see it.
Mm-hmm.
It is what it is. Like at this point, AI is what it is. I'm not a big fan of it
Yeah.
and a supporter, only because I'm an artist. I'm a writer. It's a real. That's why I say it's touchy for me because I literally am affected by it because it's
Yeah.
the new wave. So
It's the new wave of everything, and
you gotta do what you gotta do, man. It's a
yeah,
business at the end of the day. So I understand.
yeah. So, whew, take a
Yeah,
sigh of,
man.
I take a breath. I really
Yeah.
feel
So
it.
that was a lot. So I think with that being said, I think given a square round table send off to one of the greatest voice actors and actors of our time. So from the square round table to you guys, we just want to say thank you to Mr. James Earl Jones. Thank you
Hmm.
for what you contribute to not only the industry but to our lives. You're one of the reasons why we have this podcast. We got the shirts on, so we have stuff to talk about. Just thank you for that. The condolences goes out to the family.
Yep.
Everybody who was touched by. We lost a good one.
Yes, we did.
So, like we said, rest eternally, rest easy, rest in power. And D, if you don't have anything else to say, man, you know what time it is.
What time is it?
In the honor of the great late James Earl Jones. My voice ain't as deep, but I'm gonna try. Demetrius, it is time for the shameless promotional brought to you by the Square Roundtable, one of the greatest podcasts for blurs out there. And you can catch us sometimes on all these platforms that Demetrius Clark, the tech wizard, will give us. Demetrius?
Oh, that was good. All right, all right, man. That was, man. All right, sign them up, guys. Sign them up. All right. If you like the video, share it, comment under it about anything. The late great James Earl Jones, where you first heard him, and what was his most in film or voice acting role or whatever he did for you. And let us know if our top five is your top five for top five films. And hit the notification bell on the right side of the video so you get notified of this video and future videos. Follow us on all of our socials, our Instagram, our Twitter, or X, and our Discord. Follow us on our Discord. Join our Discord. We can talk all the talk about everything, all the time. And follow us on squareroundtablepod.fandomlim.com. I say it again, squareroundtablepod.fandomlim.com. and follow us on Rap Nerd on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Appreciate Rap Nerd, appreciate
Shouts
fandomlin.com,
out. Shouts
and
out.
anyone else that is helping us through whether it's subscribing or sharing our videos or hitting that notification bell or even liking the video or
Yes.
following us on our social media page.
Yes.
We appreciate you
Yeah.
guys following us on our journey. We're trying to
Yeah.
get to 1,000 subscribers. We're making our way. We're
We
almost
we almost to
halfway.
500.
We're
We
almost
getting
there. We're
there.
so close.
We getting there. So we appreciate y'all for real, cause y'all without y'all, we can't do what we do. So y'all make it happen
Exactly.
just as much as we do by watching the videos, commenting, going on the Instagram, whatever, engaging with our videos. Cause we make all this stuff so you guys can enjoy it. This is also, even though it's a tribute to James Earl Jones, we just want to give a shout out to all our viewers and all the freaks and geeks, man. We appreciate
We
y'all.
appreciate you so much. So continue on our journey, wherever that goes, however far that goes. Be with us all the way.
Yes.
So, with that being said, I'm your host, Dimitri.
And I'm your host, Marcus.
And this has been the Square Roundtable Podcast. We are out. Peace. And may the force be with you.
And Akuna Matata, baby.